Do you think modern predators are scary? Ancient humans didn't have weapons, fences, or emergency numbers. For millions of years, humans weren't the scariest creature in the room. We were somewhere in the middle of the food chain. Sometimes we were hunters, and very often we were prey. We didn't have claws, fangs, or skin thick enough to stop a bite. We had soft skin and a lot of hope. Our only real advantage was a big brain, and even that didn't pay off right away. Today we're going to explore real predators that hunted real humans, supported by real bones and real research. Some of this evidence spans millions of years, while others are closer to 50,000. Time flies when predators are involved. Fair warning, the scariest on this list isn't who you'd expect. No spoilers, but by the end of this video, you might be looking at pigeons a little differently. Let's start 2 to 3 million years ago, in what is now South Africa. Small body, small teeth, no weapons yet. Essentially, a walking snack with big ambitions. In 1924, quarry workers found a small skull that would become famous. The Taung child. It belonged to a 3 or 4-year-old child, an Australopithecus africanus, our early relative. For decades, no one knew exactly how this child died. Then researchers looked closer at the skull's eye sockets. They found puncture marks and scratches identical to the damage modern eagles leave on dead monkeys. The killer was not a lion. It wasn't a leopard. It was a giant eagle swooping down from above. Researcher Lee Berger said the evidence was so compelling that he could have literally charged the eagle in court. So the first item on this list of deadly predators is a bird. Try to explain this to your friends. The crowned eagle can still snatch small monkeys right out of the trees today. A 3-year-old hominid looked just like a meal for a bird designed for just that job. Small hominins were in danger on the ground and in the air. In fact, their very existence was an extreme sport of its era. Let's travel to Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania, about 2 million years later. Archaeologists who studied this site found something sobering about early Homo habilis. Some of the bones of Homo habilis show clear signs of being hunted rather than simply being consumed. At this stage of history, early humans were directly competing with lions, leopards, and hyenas for the same territory. Caves, waterholes, and shade, every good spot was already occupied by a much better armed tenant, and they were regularly losing this competition. Land predators were only half the problem. The water had its own nightmare. Scientists who studied the Olduvai Gorge found so many hominin bones with traces of crocodile bites that they named a whole new species after it. Meet Crocodylus anthropophagus. Its scientific name literally translates to crocodile that eats humans.
Scientists don't give out names like that for no reason. The bones of Homo habilis with such bite marks were found near waterholes, exactly where thirsty hominins had to appear. The related giant crocodile in Kenya, Crocodylus thorbjarnarsoni, may have reached a length of more than 7 meters. For early hominins, drinking water was essentially a small, frightening gamble every single day. Even the most careful walking doesn't help much when the danger is already swimming quietly nearby. So the real score against early humans included a bird, several large cats, hyenas, and now a crocodile named after eating them. Now let's move on to a much larger and much scarier name, the cave lion. Panthera spilea was larger than any modern lion and was found throughout glacial Europe. Cave lions are even depicted in cave paintings, which perfectly illustrates the impact they made. In 2023, researchers studied the skeleton of a 48,000-year-old cave lion from Siegsdorf, Germany. A puncture wound in one of its ribs revealed an incredible story. The researchers carefully examined the angle and shape of the wound before drawing any conclusions. This wound was inflicted by a wooden spear held by a Neanderthal. This is the oldest confirmed killing of a large predator by a human relative in the entire archaeological record. There is older evidence as well. Lion finger bones found in Einhornhöhle, Germany, are at least 190,000 years old. The claws were still in place when the Neanderthals were skinning. just as a proud hunter keeps a trophy today. Somewhere between being eagle food and hunting lions, there was a dramatic change in how humans dealt with danger. And here is the turning point that almost no one talks about. In Olorgesailie, Kenya, researchers have mapped how ancient prey animals actually moved through the landscape. Between 1,200,000 and 500,000 years ago, Homo erectus calculated the narrow passages in the landscape. Instead of chasing animals across open terrain, they waited in the narrow passages that the animals had to walk through. This is the essence of ambush hunting. Patience and knowledge of the landscape do the heavy lifting instead of sheer speed. You don't need superhuman strength. It's just really good terrain reconnaissance. Around the same time, spear-based defenses at sites like Schoningen gave people a way to fight predators up close and survive. Put together an ambush strategy and a real weapon, and the entire balance of power on the landscape began to shift. People were no longer just reacting to predators, they were starting to plan for them. So let's take a look at the real score over the past few million years. Round 1, giant eagles against small hominins. The eagles clearly won this round. Round 2, a river full of big crocodiles against anyone with the thirst to come. Also, a predator win. On this backdrop, the score was not looking good for our branch of the evolutionary tree. Round 3, big cats and hyenas against early humans of the Adipt. Still mostly predator wins. Round 4, Neanderthals against cave lions, armed with a spear and patience. Finally, a human win. It took about 2 million years to turn the tide. It wasn't a quick transformation. The real weapons were patience, tools, and a group willing to wait together rather than claws or muscles. There was also a fourth weapon that is rarely given credit for, passing on the warning. The rock carvings of lions were not just decorative. They also served as a very early safety manual. Each generation that survived a crocodile-infested watering hole ensured that the next generation knew exactly which one to avoid. The knowledge was as sharp as any spear, and it was much easier to pass on around the campfire. It also clearly helped to stay away from unnecessary swimming near suspiciously still water. So the next time a bird scares you in the park, remember, your ancestors have a real unresolved history with eagles. And the next time you glance at a suspiciously still lake, know this instinct is about 2 million years old. From eagle food to lion hunter, here is the real story of the transformation of the human species. Every time you lock your door, thank the Neanderthal with the spear and the incredible patience. If this story makes you want to hug the nearest spear-shaped stick, subscribe to the channel. Write in the comments which predator from this list would be the first to finish your storyline. See you in the next video.